Hello beautiful people, my name is Bridget and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is a review of the new Jeffree Star Orgy collection. I'm not saying that correctly, I'm not doing it. That's dirty and I don't do that. But today we're doing a first impressions of both of the palettes. I also have the setting powder. If you want a review of that, let me know. But today we're doing a first impressions of these. We're not showing the unicartons because they're pretty promiscuous and YouTube does not like that. And I like to follow YouTube's rules. So today we are reviewing these things. If you have a problem with Jeffree Star or his brand in general, please do not direct that at me. I review these things for the benefit of myself. Jeffree reviews are great. Why do you think every drama channel puts Jeffree in every title? Because Jeffree is great for views, and I'm not going to sit here and deny that. Also, I want to test the quality of the products. I want to separate the people in a brand, because I'm sure there's some people in brands that I have no idea about, and they're horrible people. So I'm trying to separate that. Don't attack me for this. And if you don't like these kind of reviews on my channel, don't worry, I'll be back to normal content soon. And without any further ado, let's go ahead and get started. We'll do a first impressions video. First impressions look. Before we get started with the look, I wanted to take the main palette here and see how different each row is. So we're going to swatch the first shade. This one's called I'm Shy. This one's called Seduction. And we're going to compare the first shade to the last shade in the palette. Jeffree usually live swatches each shade in the palette, but he didn't with this one. So here is the first two, like the first and the last one from the first row. Clean off my fingers. Now down to Voyeurism, which is kind of a yellowy shade, to Bed or Floor. So here is Voyeurism, which is slightly more yellow. Here's Bed or Floor. For row 3, here is Knee Pads, which is like a sandy kind of color. And we have Cunnilingus? Cunnilingus? I don't know what that means. There is those shades. Those really aren't that different, really. I mean, yeah, it's clearly darker, but like they have the same kind of tone to it. For this row, we have Craving Chocolate and Scorpio. Definitely Scorpio looks way more gray. But I've seen a lot of speculation online, like if you took the first and the last one, they're pretty much the same, but they are different. Everything in between though is a little similar. For the last row, we have Money Shot and Glory Hole. So here's the first and the last shade from each row compared to each other. And now let's move on to the look. Alright guys, so let's go ahead and get started. I usually have my eyes primed before I start the video, but a lot of times I get asked what primer I use for my eyes. So today I'm using the Clean Canvas by Gerard Cosmetics. This is coming out in new colors. There was already a pre-order for the new colors and stuff, but this is the original color, which is kind of a tinted beige. I'm excited for the new fair one, but this is one I have right now. I'm just going to go ahead and put it on my eyes. It gives a really tacky base, and it's pretty full coverage too, so you don't see like my blue veins and stuff anymore. Alright, so we're going to start off with, obviously, is the main palette here, which we're not going to talk about the name of it because... Anyway, here's the inside. I do want my under the brow area brightened up, especially since I put a tinted eye primer up there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the shade Implants, which is like... I mean, they're all basically the same up here. For the most part, just like these last three are a little more gray. There's a ton of kickback in the pan with that shade, but I typically do not care. And I'm just gonna buff this underneath of our brow bone area. I was actually kind of hoping this would be like super pigmented and kind of brighten the under eye or the under eyebrow area up, but it did not. So I'm gonna wipe off the product on my arm just because I use the same brush. I don't typically use a ton of brushes when I do eye looks. So for this first impressions video, I'm just gonna like keep it simple, just try it out for the first time. So I do wish this was a little more brightening on the eyes. It just kind of disappeared. And there's a ton of kickback in the pan, but like that doesn't bother me, but in case you want to know. And these are also the Sigma E38 and E55 brushes, which are in my Sigma brush set. So let's get started with the shade Body now. I'm gonna, like, they're so similar that I just randomly picking what shade to use. So I'm gonna take Body, which is this more of a taupey kind of color. Not much kickback in the pan, a ton of product on the brush. I'm gonna tap off our excess and put this in our crease. That didn't show up at all, but let's just try a second round not tapping off the excess. Yeah, I feel like I'm losing it, the shade. Like there's a little something there, but also I had tinted eye primer. So if even on me I can't tell, I feel like a lot of different skin tones, you might not be able to see this shadow. Also, I have some leftover lash glue in my eye. Never mind that. All right. I mean, okay. I mean, it's a very light shade, yes. but I would like to see that on my eyes. I'm gonna take the shade, let's see if this palette's versatile. Let's take Versatile. I'm gonna take that, not much, there's a little kickback in the pan. A lot on the brush, tap off our excess, actually stayed on the brush. And I'm gonna add this to our crease now. This one's definitely more pigmented. I mean, I'm not saying the other one's not pigmented, I'm just saying it disappeared. It could be pigmented, just the exact same color as my eyelids. Here's our shade over the crease. It's looking okay. I didn't really bring it down on the lid because we're gonna cover it anyways. It looks fine. Like, I have no complaints about this shade. It's the first two shades were just kind of like to me, so like, I don't know. This one was worked out pretty well. Again, Versatile was pretty nice, and I actually love this kind of color with like kind of the ashier brown. So I like that, kind of like a hot chocolate color, like the powder, you know? Let's move on now. I actually feel like this gray kind of color is cute, but it wouldn't go with what we're doing. So I'm gonna go ahead and deepen it up with a mix of Invitation Only and Happy Ending. We're not saying anything inappropriate in this video. Happy Ending had more kickback in the pan than Invitation Only did. It tapped off for excess, and I'm just gonna darken up our outer little V here. This is a very matte shadow, especially the darkest one here, and it's kind of sticking where I put it. It's making it a little bit harder to blend out, but it is quite pigmented. It's just taking a little more effort to work with and blend out than I thought it would, but you could also mix it with a lighter shade to help blend it if need be, because there's a ton of light shades in here. I'm actually going to take Silk Robe on a little bit on the brush and help blend up here. So here's our eye look going on right now. It looks okay. It's not like my favorite thing in the world. I don't know. I just feel like a lot of the colors got lost in each other. And that one kind of color really did stick where I put it, which was this one. This one actually blended out pretty well. I know I was using it interchangeably, but you can kind of tell which color blended more than the other one. So this is what we're gonna do for our top lid. For the lower lash line, I'm gonna take, let's do a different color. Let's do Craving Chocolate, which is this shade right here, which is a little more of a warm kind of brown tone. I'm just gonna take my shader brush and dust it under the lower lash line. And then for the very outer corner, I'll just use a little bit of I'm Close, which is this one. All right, this is our eye look going on right now. Pretty basic, but I mean, it's a look I'm very comfortable with, honestly. So let's go ahead and take our little shimmer palette, so the mini palette now. And for the shimmer, I'm gonna use my finger. I'm gonna take Phone Party, which is like this kind of champagne-y shade. Ooh. See, this one looked more like a wet texture. I was kind of expecting like maybe it'd be more of a super shock. It's very dry on the finger. Let me swatch a different one. Let's do Gagging. This one feels slightly more smooth. So I'm gonna take the Phone Party one. It feels really dry. I'm just gonna pack it on with my finger. I guess since I have this in my finger too, I'll use this in the inner portion. It's not really a super smooth shadow, to be honest. The Gagging one is slightly better. A little more pigmented, a little more soft. This Phone Party one is very dry and it looks okay, but it's not like, oh my god, a beautiful shimmer actually, which is kind of surprising because he has a really good shimmer formula. Normally, not a fan of like the Thirsty palettes, the glitter thing. That was not it. But the rest of his shimmers and the rest of his palettes are really stunning. So I'm surprised this one is just so underwhelming and not really that base pigment to it. Like I feel like if I had shadow on my lid, like a matte shadow, you'd probably see that color through it. It's not like a super opaque metallic-y shimmer formula like I'm used to from him. So here is our crease area. I'm gonna take our blending brush and just kind of blend the shimmers and mattes together. And then I'm gonna pop on some mascara lashes, finish up my face. I'll be right back, show you the finished look, and then we'll talk about it a little bit. All right, guys, this is the finished look. What do we think? This is it up close. Just kind of a mushed together mess at this point, but I mean, it looks fine, honestly. And as far as what I think of these palettes so far, I don't know. The shimmer was different than I expected, like texture-wise. We'll feel the rest of them and see what I think of those soon. I'm really excited about the white shimmer. Also, I really thought in the promo pictures this was pink. It looks pink on camera. When you turn down the lighting and stuff, maybe you can see for a different angle, it's basically kind of like a pink red, which is not what I expected. As far as the main palette goes, I don't know yet. Like, I need to play with it more. If you guys want to see a 3 looks video from me on this palette palettes, let me know. I'd definitely be willing to do it for you if that's something you want to see. Try to get some versatility out of this. Also, if you want a review of the new Luminous setting powder, I also picked that up because I'm obsessed with setting powders. And if you want a review of that, let me know. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.